Guys, we have reached the bottom of the barrel in terms of Mojang and Microsoft's incompetence and refusal to acknowledge anything wrong with their games. In order for you to understand what I'm talking about, right behind OBS, you're going to notice this neat little window. The story is pretty simple. I was just browsing for mods for my Optifine replacement pack, so that way I could, have a better experience with playing Minecraft, so I don't have to use proprietary Optifine, because God knows I hate that thing after the years I've had to use it just to get some minor performance boosts. But anyways, in 1.18, Mojang added a very awful thing called telemetry. Now, telemetry is something that's used to track user data, and that user data can be sent back to the author of a software or a piece of software. So basically, the developers can see what's going on with their game and what their users are doing and what settings they're using, yada yada, you get it. But when I found this mod, there's one thing that stuck out to me most, and that was the user identifier for XUID. Now, previously in 1.12, as it says up here, there were snooper settings. Snooper settings could be used in order to see what the player was doing in single player and multiplayer. Just to make, fixing bugs just a little bit easier. But the fact that they're tracking a user identifier is not good, to say the least. Because as it says here, it sends the XUID in plain text. Not obfuscated, not encrypted, plain old text. Like what you're reading here, if you're even reading it. So what does this mean? Well, that means there's a problem. There's a problem, and that problem is that Minecraft is no longer GDPR compliant, and it violates 2 articles and 3 sections of GDPR. And I'll show you what those are in just a minute. So, these are all the things that Mojang collects on you. And they did not add a toggle. As you'll see in just a second, telemetry cannot be disabled. Resolved. Works as intended. Data collection was reintroduced in 21W38A, but there are no settings that allow to review sent data and disable telemetry. A button which allows me to review and disable telemetry similar to pre-1.13 snooper settings. Observed result. No telemetry related settings in the options menu. Oh, excuse me. As this user points out, first off, I don't think most of those are GDPR compliant. Secondly, if the telemetry servers were to be hacked, someone could easily hack accounts with an MITM attack. There should be an opt-out button. Yeah, there should be. And also, why the fuck would Microsoft or Mojang ever try to collect your XUID? There's no reason to ever have that in a data log being sent to their servers. Are they trying to spy on us or something? I know Microsoft is known for its telemetry. I mean, Windows 10 is filled to the brim with it. Windows 11 has even more of it, on top of all the bloat that got added. But, by the way, don't use Windows 11. You may as well just switch to Linux if you're going to use 11, because it just looks the same. But, yeah, it's not good at all to have this stuff tracked and sent to Mojang or Microsoft. Because God knows, I don't want them having my info and then using it for whatever they could think of. I don't know, maybe they could use it, maybe they could sell it, maybe they could give it away to people. But Yeah, let's move on to the actual articles themselves. So, Article 7, Conditions for Consent, says that where processing is based on consent, the controller shall be able to demonstrate that the data subject has consented to processing of his or her personal data. As far as I can tell, in base Minecraft, there is no way to toggle this on or off, nor is there a way to consent to it. Oh, that's bad. That's already a violation of GDPR. Well, let's keep reading, shall we? If the data subject's consent is given in the context of a written declaration which also concerns other matters, the request for consent shall be presented in a manner which is clearly distinguishable from the other matters, in an intelligible and easily accessible form, using clear and plain language. Any part of such a declaration which constitutes an infringement of this regulation shall not be binding. The data subject shall have the right to withdraw his or her consent at any time. The withdrawal of consent shall not affect the lawfulness of processing based on consent before its withdrawal. Prior to giving consent, the data subject shall be informed thereof. It shall be easy to withdraw as to give consent. So basically what that means is, in order for you to give consent and to revoke that consent, they have to be equally as easy to perform. And I guess that's right with this mod, but this should be in the base game, not as a mod that is, just not cool, alright? Now, I would go on Twitter and ask the devs to please remove this, to add an option to disable this. But, as far as I can tell from what I've read so far from these two articles alone, they have violated the GDPR in more ways than one. So let's move on to Article 8 real quick. And here's where it gets real juicy, because guess what? Where point A of Article 6.1 applies in relation to the offer of information society services directly to a child, the processing of the personal data of a child shall be lawful where the child is at least 16 years old. Where the child is below the age of 16 years, such processing shall only be lawful if and to the extent that consent is given or authorized by the holder of parental responsibility over the child. I'll show you something related to that in a minute. For right now, member states may provide by law for a lower age for those purposes, provided that such lower age is not below 13 years. So basically what that means is countries under the EU's jurisdiction can change the age requirement so long as it doesn't go below 13 years. So, say Germany, for example, doesn't agree with 16 years, they decide to lower it to 14 years, they can do that. They can pass that within their country. That is perfectly understandable and lawful under the EU's GDPR regulation. So, the controller shall make reasonable efforts to verify in such cases that consent is given or authorized by the holder of parental responsibility over the child, taking into consideration available technology. Microsoft is perfectly capable of doing this. They have the resources, the money, the time to do all of these things. So I would be hard-pressed to see if they actually can't do anything about it. Paragraph 1 shall not affect the general contract law of member states, such as the rules on the validity, formation, or effect of a contract in relation to a child. Alright, that part I don't actually know about. So, what should you take away from this? 1, I'm not a lawyer. Just thought I would say that. And 2, I think I'm smart enough to understand that Minecraft is not GDPR compliant. And the worst part is, Mojang hasn't updated their GDPR compliance page. In fact, I'm pretty sure the link is minecraft.net/privacy/GDPR. Yeah, see? And this page has not been updated yet. Oh, and if you're wondering, back in 1.12, you could disable snooper settings manually. Just open up the options menu, and in the bottom right corner under, I think it was controls, there is a button that says snooper settings, and it will show you everything that Mojang is collecting on you, and there is a button in that menu that allows you to toggle snooper settings on and off. In fact, I can show you that right now. And here's the weird part. 1.13 completely removed all of the snooper settings functionalities. So let me show you that real quick. 1.12.2, the last version of Minecraft. This is like the turning point for everything. This is like the final version before the era of Microsoftium, I guess. So, snooper settings right here. This is all the information Mojang tracks. Every single one of these is tracked by Mojang. This is how it was before 1.18. And you can turn this on and off. Now, if I quit the game and launch in 1.13, you're going to notice something interesting. And that is that they completely removed the ability to enable and disable it because they completely removed telemetry altogether. It was completely just gone. They gutted it from the game. And it is very strange that they would add it back in 1.18 of all versions and make it non-compliant with GDPR as well. And as you can see, even less information than it was before. You know, we had that huge list. Now they only collect this stuff. But actually, they can't even collect it because Snooper is forced off. They completely gutted it. So why, now of all times, would they make it to where you can't do anything about it? Bit weird, isn't it? But yeah, that is everything I have to say about this, and this is not good. This is really bad. This is not only bad for European citizens because they won't be able to play Minecraft if the EU does anything about it, and they're like, yeah, that's not cool, bro. That's not how this works. Okay, you gotta comply, or you are not coming back. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of telemetry. I don't like being tracked on anything. That's like putting a camera in my bathroom and then having that footage beamed into a hard drive in your house. You really think I want that? No, dude. No, just stop. In conclusion, I'm not a lawyer. Make of this what you will. And please don't let this be normalized. And also bitch at Mojang about it on Twitter, because I don't have a Twitter account. I'm not going to make one, because I don't like Twitter. Anyways, see ya, and have a good day.